I thought a trip to Portugal would save us. Turns out it was the perfect place to watch everything fall apart. Quietly, completely, and right in front of me. She said it was a vacation. What she didn't say was that he'd be there too. Welcome to Infidelity Truths. Before we dive into today's gripping story, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more thrilling stories just for you. Let's begin. My name's Daniel, and for almost 3 years, I truly believed I had everything figured out with Camille. She was unlike anyone I'd ever met. Brilliant, always 2 steps ahead, and wickedly sharp-witted. We met at a tech summit in Seattle. She was managing PR for a feisty new app, and I was neck-deep in cybersecurity research. I liked how direct she was. She liked how calm I stayed under pressure. We weren't perfect, but we fit. We built a life that looked solid from the outside. Nice apartment, good jobs, regular date nights, weekend trips, dinner parties with friends who toasted us like we were the gold standard. But beneath the surface, hairline cracks were always forming. Camille had a way of sidestepping anything related to her past. Mention her ex, Brandon, and she'd shut down, dismissing it with a smirk. He's ancient history, she'd say, waving it off like a gnat. I let it go. I shouldn't have. There were signs. Late nights, she said, were for work. Coming home smelling like expensive perfume and bar limes. I tried not to dwell. I didn't want to be that guy, the one who second guesses everything. We even double dated with friends like Marcus and Talia. Lots of laughs, shared stories. Marcus would raise his glass and toast to power couples, and I'd raise mine to swallowing doubt. Then Camille suggested a getaway to Portugal. We've been stretched thin, she said. Let's just unplug. It sounded perfect. I booked the flights that same night, thinking maybe this would be the fresh start we both needed. When we landed in Lisbon, it felt like a dream. Sunlit streets, music on every corner, roasted chestnuts in the air. Camille came alive again. She tugged me through alleys with her camera, smiling like she used to. We rode trams, ate grilled sardines by the docks, stayed up drinking wine and laughing under the stars. I let myself believe again. But it didn't last. A few days in, we were having coffee outside a cafe near Alfama when her phone buzzed. She looked at it, smiled slightly, and typed something quickly. Work? I asked. Yeah, she said, flipping its screen down. That night, as we got ready for a concert, she kept checking her phone, hiding the screen, tilting it away from me. Who are you messaging? I asked. She laughed, too light. Don't be jealous, Daniel. It's just work. But all evening, her eyes kept darting to her screen like it held a secret. That night, while she slept, phone clutched in her hand, I stared at the ceiling. My gut already knew. I just didn't want to admit it yet. The next morning, she was dressed before I even stirred, brushing her hair, humming like we were still happy. I'm checking out that art district, she said. Want company? She laughed. You hate galleries. I'll be quick. She kissed my forehead like I was some drowsy kid and walked out the door. The moment it shut, I grabbed my phone. Before the trip, she'd asked me to install a location sharing app. For safety, she said. I opened it. She wasn't heading to the art district. She was moving toward the waterfront. I hesitated only a moment before pulling on my sneakers and heading out. I watched the dot move in real time, my heart pounding. When I got close, I ducked into a souvenir shop and checked again. She'd stopped at a small cafe by the docks. I crossed carefully. There she was outside, leaning close to a man with sun-lightened hair and a worn leather jacket. Laughing, touching his wrist like it was the most natural thing in the world. I didn't need a second look. I knew him. Brandon. The ghost she'd sworn was gone. They didn't see me. I took photos from across the street. No yelling, no scene. Just truth unraveling quietly. By the time I got back to the hotel, Camille was already there, lounging on the bed, scrolling her phone like nothing had happened. See good art? I asked. My voice calm. She smiled sweetly. Beautiful stuff. You'd have hated it. I smiled back. That was when everything shifted. That night, I lay next to her while she slept, curling close like she always did. But something inside me had gone still. By morning, I'd made my choice. While she showered, I picked up her phone. We knew each other's passcodes, part of the so-called trust. It didn't take long. Messages from Brandon, dozens, weeks back, months. I miss you. Counting the days. Daniel has no clue. The trip wasn't about us, it was a cover. A staged escape so she could sneak in time with him. I forwarded the entire thread to myself, then wiped it from her phone. When she came out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel, I was sitting on the edge of the bed. You okay? She asked, smiling. I nodded. Just thinking we should do something different today, something fun. She lit up, oblivious. I nodded along, but inside, I was already gone. I booked a one-way ticket home under the table at breakfast, called the hotel to claim a family emergency. That night, while she slept beside me, I packed. Just the essentials. Before I left, I scribbled a note on hotel stationery. Camille, I know, I saw everything. Enjoy Lisbon. You won't hear from me again. Daniel. I left it on her pillow and walked out. No backward glance. The flight back to Chicago was quiet. I stared out the window, feeling lighter with every passing mile. Before takeoff, I blocked her number. No more messages. Back home, I drained our joint account and moved everything into my personal one. Called a locksmith. Changed the locks before sunset. Then I boxed up everything she owned, set it outside the front door, locked the place, sat down and listened to the silence. 2 days later, she came back. Knocking, jiggling her key, then pounding. Daniel, open the door. I didn't move. Watched her through the peephole as she froze at the sight of the boxes. Her hands trembled. She banged again, louder, then walked away. The next day, Marcus called. Dude, what the hell happened in Portugal? What did Camille say? I asked. Said you had a blowout and just left. She's crying to Talia, posting cryptic crap online. I sent him the screenshots. A minute later, he replied, Jesus. Word spread. Some friends distanced themselves from her. Others apologized. I didn't ask for any of it. I wasn't angry anymore, just done. But Camille didn't stop. She posted breakup quotes, played victim, texted me from random numbers, begged, raged. Then HR called me. Hey, just a heads up. We got an anonymous email about you, weird accusations. We're not acting on it, but wanted you to know. I didn't ask who sent it. I knew, that was it. I hired a lawyer, told him everything, cheating, harassment, slander. By the end of the day, she was served. A cease and desist letter, direct and final. 2 days later, one last message. You think you're so smart. You're pathetic. Enjoy being alone. Blocked. That was the end. Later, I heard she moved in with Brandon. It didn't last. Same story, different man. He kicked her out. She left the state after that. I didn't care. I had a new life. Smaller place, tighter circle. Real people. Weekends spent hiking, fixing my bike, breathing again. Looking back, the smartest thing I ever did was walk away. Quietly. Without trying to fix someone who never wanted to be fixed. No screaming, no showdown. Just the truth. Laid bare. And peace. Rebuilding wasn't glamorous. It wasn't some movie montage with upbeat music and tidy resolutions. It was quiet. Some days, painfully so. I'd wake up in the middle of the night reaching for someone who wasn't there anymore. And then I'd remember, she chose this. The betrayal, the lies, the gaslighting, it was all a decision, not a mistake, not a moment of weakness, a pattern. I started going to therapy. Not because I was broken, but because I didn't want to carry her damage any further into my life. I talked about everything with my therapist, how I let Layla dodge her past, how I ignored the signs, how I made myself small to keep the peace. The more I spoke, the clearer it became. I had been holding a relationship together by myself, mistaking survival for stability. A few months later, I got a new job offer from a cybersecurity firm in Seattle. More money, better hours, a fresh start. I packed up my apartment in Chicago, sold most of what reminded me of us, and drove cross-country with just a duffel bag, my laptop, and my bike strapped to the back. Seattle was rainy, but honest. People there didn't pretend as much. I liked that. I joined a local bike group, started rock climbing, explored the city one neighborhood at a time. I didn't rush anything. I wasn't looking to fill the space Layla left. I was learning to enjoy the space itself. Then, one evening, while waiting for my coffee at a tiny bookstore cafe, someone tapped my shoulder. "Excuse me, are you Daniel Thomas?" I turned, surprised. The woman standing there had kind eyes and a confident posture. She introduced herself. Claire, a journalist working on a piece about digital security and identity theft. She'd seen a talk I'd given online, wanted to interview me. I agreed, mostly out of curiosity. One interview turned into coffee. Coffee turned into conversations, and eventually conversations turned into weekend walks. Claire wasn't flashy or overly polished. She asked real questions and gave real answers. No games, no masks. With her, I didn't feel like I had to explain the past. I just had to be present. I told her about Layla eventually, about Portugal, Jonah, the letter, the silence. She listened without pity or judgment. "Sounds like you got out just in time," she said, gently squeezing my hand. "Yeah," I said. And it took me a long time to see that walking away wasn't weakness, it was strength. Claire and I never defined things too fast. We moved slowly, deliberately. I liked that. I needed that. And for the first time in years, I wasn't looking over my shoulder, waiting for the other shoe to drop. I never heard from Layla again. I don't know where she is now, and I don't want to. That chapter is closed, not with a bang, but with a quiet turning of the page. Some scars still itch when it rains, metaphorically speaking, but they remind me that I healed, that I chose peace, that I stopped waiting for someone to become who they promised, and became someone better myself. So yeah, people toast to power couples, but now I know better. I raise my glass to honesty, to boundaries, to walking away, and to the strange kind of peace that comes when you stop chasing chaos and let the truth speak for itself. A year into Seattle, things were peaceful. Claire and I had grown into something steady, unforced. We didn't label it loudly or plaster it on social media. We just lived it. She had her world, freelance articles, deadlines, late night editing, and I had mine. We met in the middle and made space for each other without crowding it. Then came the test. Claire got an offer, a dream assignment in London, a 6-month investigative fellowship, career defining stuff, the kind of opportunity you don't say no to. She brought it up carefully, like someone carrying fragile glass. "I haven't accepted yet," she said one night, curled beside me on the couch. "I wanted to talk to you first." Old panic stirred in me, the kind that used to follow Layla's sudden business trips or surprise work dinners. But this was different. Claire wasn't hiding anything. She was bringing me into the decision, not using it to excuse something else. "Go," I said without hesitation. "You have to." "You sure?" "Claire," I said, taking her hand. "I've been with someone who built secrets like scaffolding. You? You build bridges." We didn't do some dramatic farewell. No promises of forever, just honesty. We stayed in touch. Calls, voice notes, shared playlists. And oddly, the distance didn't feel like loss. It felt like respect, like trust stretched across time zones. When she came back 6 months later, we were different people. Not in love with an idea of each other, but anchored in reality. She moved into a little loft across the street from mine, not into my apartment, into my life, on her terms, on ours. One rainy Sunday, we were making pancakes in her kitchen when she looked up and said, "You know what I love about you?" "What?" "You don't need fixing, you don't need saving, you just show up." I smiled, flipping a pancake. "That's the secret, just show up." We didn't have some big wedding or grand proposal. We signed a lease together a year later, got a rescue dog named Pixel, and built a quiet life full of morning walks, late night brainstorming sessions, and the kind of laughter that doesn't need an audience. Sometimes I still think about Lisbon, about the man I was back then, confused, betrayed, unraveling. And then I look around now, at the books on our shelves, the quiet trust between us, the small joy of shared silence. And I know that heartbreak was my beginning. Walking away wasn't the end of my story, it was the first true page. And here's the truth I've come to live by: the real power couple is you and your peace. The real love story is choosing yourself when everything else falls apart. And the real happily ever after It's waking up one day and realizing you're finally free. Thank you, my amazing subscribers. Wow, what a journey. If you've made it to the end of this story, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Your support means everything to me. Every time you watch, like, and comment, you're helping keep this channel alive and growing. And trust me, the best is yet to come. I see all your comments. I feel your love, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. Your thoughts and feedback inspire me to create even more powerful stories. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new upload. More shocking twists, emotional journeys, and real life lessons are on the way, and I don't want you to miss a single one. Together, we're building an incredible community, and I'm so grateful to have you on this journey with me. Stay strong, stay inspired, and remember, sometimes life's greatest lessons come from the most unexpected moments. See you in the next story.